time she smiles, a golden beam in my eyes. She's the sun, only one in my sky. All the time, oh, daylight. Every time I close my eyes, I feel her daylight. In the garden on this screen, she's wrapped in my mind. Keep me warm in a love so divine. It surrounds me. She's like Sunday afternoon, sunny day in June. Flowers start to bloom when she's around me. Everything's complete. Sour turns to sweet. Nothing more I need when she's around. Daylight, not alone in the dawn. As I pull the blinds, I feel you in my bones. You're my guiding light through the darkest night. When I'm feeling tired, know that I'm alright with you. She surrounds me like Sunday afternoon, sunny day in June. Flowers start to bloom when she's around me. Everything's complete. Sour turns to sweet. Nothing more I need. I've been waiting for this feeling such a long time, and I can't believe I get to say that you're mine. I've been using all my power in every waking hour just to stay within the distance of your shine, my daylight.
Wow.
That is so cool.
Welcome back to our
welcome
studio.
It's so good to be back. Thank you
Yes.
for having me.
Thank you for
Good to
coming back
have you
here.
back. It feels so soothing. And I was just wondering, I checked your Instagram account, and one of the concerts that you were doing, you said these are for the Singaporean kids who had never had the warmth of a parent's love. So,
It's a
is it the purpose?
saying actually in Malay. We make fun of each other. Kau kurang kasih sayang mak bapak ya. But actually, this whole album is a reflection of how I grew up and my childhood. And I grew up self-soothing to a lot of music to kind of drown out the noise that was happening around me.
Yeah.
I mean, growing up as a Singaporean kid, life is pretty stressful. There's a lot of pressures.
With some study?
In education.
The tiger mom and the tiger parents.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure everyone knows.
Yeah.
So music was really my way to kind of soothe myself in more ways than one.
I guess you're pretty lucky because you found that sort of pathway when you were only 5 years old. So you were already singing, right?
Yeah, according to my parents, my first words were from a song. So
wow.
I like that lore. I like that story. So I'm sticking with that.
What was your first word? Was it Isabella? No,
It was Isabella.
Isabella.
Really?
My
How
goodness.
did you guess? It was the song from
I'm
the
sorry,
90s
we
song
have
search.
what's called Wikipedia.
Okay, great. Amazing. Yeah.
But you still remember Isabella, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Perfect.
wow.
So, by the way, congratulations for your newest album.
Thank you
Self-Soothing.
so much. Yeah.
So please tell us, what's the story behind your album?
Well, it started out as just a collection of songs that I used to listen to when I was younger. So when I was writing this album, I was really thinking about my younger self. And looking back at my younger self, like if I made an album that my younger self would be proud of, what would it look like? What would it sound like? So a lot of the songs in the album are really inspired by the things that I listened to when I first started listening to music. because my living room in my house was kind of converted into like a audiophile listening room for
Is it because
some.
of the
Yeah, because my
dad?
dad is he.
Yeah, I still remember
Yeah,
that
yeah.
story. Your dad.
My dad, one of his many part-time jobs was selling hi-fi. So that's just kind of how I grew up. And this album is really an homage to that little kid who was sitting in the corner with a CD player and listening to every album I could get my hands on from top to bottom.
Every album, every genre of music.
Every genre.
Everything, like from Brori Marantika to like, yeah, it's crazy. I had a lot of repertoire of music growing up because my dad had a huge collection, and I was lucky that way. I mean, we didn't have digital streaming back then that you could just click on whatever song.
Right.
So I was very lucky in that sense that I was exposed to a lot of music growing up.
So you've got the whole album.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about the tracks from the album that are just exceptional for us to know?
Oh man, that's tough. That's a tough
Because
question.
you don't get to choose, right? You want to choose.
Yeah, for me, I love all the songs in the album. I feel like each song is a representation of a certain time in my childhood, a certain time in my teenage years as well. And a lot of the songs are really a reflection of what kind of person I am. So I'm very proud of each and every one of the songs. It's really hard for me to pick, I think.
Oh yeah, it's hard. I would say it's also hard, right?
Yeah.
Because as you mentioned, it's coming from different part of or different timing of your childhood.
Yeah.
So when did you choose like which genre that is best for you to sing? I mean, you've been knowing music almost whole of your life.
Yeah.
You've been singing since 5.
For me personally, I don't see myself like in the creation process, right? I think it's quite unwise to kind of pigeonhole yourself in that way. I think as a creator, I just use my voice to say words that mean a lot to me and see how that feels in my body. I don't know how to describe that,
Ah.
but there's a certain sense of like oneness.
you
when-
apply over your all senses through
Yeah,
the course of the
because-
lyrics, and then
Because singing is essentially therapy. You're
Yeah.
vocalizing a lot of your inner thoughts in a medium that your ears can absorb pleasantly,
Yeah.
you know? And so coming out from here, going back in here, processing it back here,
Yeah.
writing an album kind of feels like, let's just try to say some stuff and see what feels good to your body. I think for the longest time, I've been trying to figure out kind of the processes of writing an album. I mean, I've been writing songs for 14 years, so I'm constantly trying to figure out what is the best way to do this
Yeah.
for me. And now I realize that after working with my producer, I realized that it's really just wise to trust how your body feels when
Oh my God.
you know, like when you go to a concert and you just listen to a song and like, what is this?
I know that
You know?
how that feels.
I'm sure we all know how that feels,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's the same as a creator and as an artist as well, I think.
So if it works for you, then it might work for
Yeah.
the whole lot of.
I think people get too caught up in what they're supposed to be.
Yeah, like
and
it's
that was
you.
my problem.
It's you. Everyone.
I got that,
Yeah,
I got
I got it. Yeah, exactly.
So since you mentioned about vocalizing your inner thoughts, so please enlighten us with through your lyrics from your newest
Yeah.
album. So what inner thoughts that you want to deliver your storytelling?
I think there's
this
a lot
album?
of talk about self-worth.
Self-worth.
There's a lot of talk about anxiety. There's a lot of talk about love gained and lost. I think it's really cliche to say it's like the whole spectrum of emotions that I've ever experienced, but it kind of feels like that. Like every intense point in my life, like big breakup or getting kicked out from college or like
Yeah.
that, all those intense feelings,
Yeah.
I feel like they're all representative in kind of each of the songs.
Yeah.
So I think it's really hard to explain without you listening to it, but so if you
So-
can
Gotta listen to the whole album.
Yeah, we've listened for one of the song, Daylight. So
Yeah.
actually, Daylight is featuring Ganga.
Yeah.
Tell us about the
So Daylight is
collaboration.
a collaboration with Jakarta-based artist Ganga, and while I was writing the album in Bali in the early part of the year,
Oh.
with
So after
Petra-
you came here, then you
Yeah, exactly.
Some of the
I
time went
remember
to
I was
Bali.
here end of last year.
Yeah.
And I immediately just like, I want to stay here. What can I do here, right? And I produced the album in Bali with Petra Sihombing, who has become such a dear friend of mine. And Petra's place in Bali is kind of like a layover for a lot of musicians who come in and out of
I think
Bali.
we interviewed Petra as well one time.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's an amazing human being, I feel, in general. Yeah.
Wow.
So-
And so that was kind of the melting pot of Indonesian musicians that just come in and out and in and out. And so many people that I respect and admire have just popped by the studio and just become friends. And so with Ganga, I feel like I see a lot of my younger self in him, like his energy and his enthusiasm about his work and his
Are
art.
you even old? You don't look old.
I'm pretty not that young.
We believe he's younger than us.
Yeah, I was born in the 80s.
The same.
Yeah, so
You don't look like you were born.
neither do the both of you. Yeah, but I feel like in this album, everything kind of turned up naturally in a sense that there was no kind of trying to reverse engineer things. Everything just felt natural. Hey, like, want to write a song together? Or,
wow.
Everything was kind of like, everything was based in mutual, like we really just enjoyed each other's company. That was the basis of the relationship, of the collaborations. I enjoy your company. I think you're a great musician. Want to do something together. And to me, that creates such a great environment to be creative, and just to soak up each other's energy and to come up with something great.
So you met Ganga there at Petra's house, and you make also one of the song collaboration with Petra.
Yeah.
Is there any other Indonesian musician?
So there's a song on there with Petra himself and Teddy Aditya.
Teddy Aditya.
Yeah, and so that song is very special to me because I asked Teddy to be part of the album after he let me listen to his album, his unreleased album, and I was just like, you very rarely get that opportunity for someone to be that vulnerable with you and, hey, listen to this stuff that I haven't released. And I remember after like the 5th or 6th song, I was just weeping and crying because I was so emotional at how could this be this good. And I've never actually done that before, just asking someone, hey, you want to write a song together for my album? Your manager knows my manager, let them talk, let's just go and write one now. And Teddy
Go with the creative first.
Yeah, and we were both so excited about the ideas that we had that Teddy was like, I have 2 hours free, beso. Let's just go. And within those 2 hours, we managed to figure out a framework and the meaning behind what we wanted the song to say. I was just like a very natural, creative process between a bunch of people who really love music.
Wow, so it's a great collaboration when you have the mutual trust, mutual benefit, mutual feeling, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So what is the most memorable moment that you found during the whole process of the album?
So many. I fell in love with Bali first and foremost. I feel like it's such a beautiful place for you to be creative, clear your mind, and kind of be yourself in that sense. One of the things that I remember of writing the album is every time we finished a great song, Petra's son would be right outside the studio door, and he's like 4 years old. He's only starting to learn how to talk, and every time he's outside singing the melody of the song, of every one of the songs. So he memorized the album before it was even out.
Wow.
And he was just like, Om Seza, Om Sez, Om Sez. He was just like looking for cues from a 4-year-old.
So he was actually the one who said, it's approved or not.
Exactly. Like there's this song called December. And it has this very legato, kind of very relaxed sort of backing vocal that his son had already memorized. And every time we play the song, he'd just stand there in front of the speaker and sing the backing vocals. Not even the vocals, but the backing vocals. And we were like, okay, this song is approved in that sense. So I remember that very fondly. I think throughout the whole process, we also become such good friends and spend a lot of time with him and his family. So yeah.
We can say that Petra's son is one of the first audience who approved all of your song in your album, right?
He's so pintar. He's such an amazing boy.
Pintar.
He knows how to operate like digital streaming platforms, and he knows how to operate the user interface. And he's his love for music at such a young age is just
Okay, next
so
we're
amazing to
gonna
be around.
interview him.
You should. You should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, talking about your album, and of course, you want to deliver yourself with some presents. You change your haircut, and then we look at your, let's say, the album cover, right?
Yeah.
So, what kind of story that you want to deliver through your hairdo, makeup, and dress
Message,
up?
maybe?
Fashion?
I guess in terms of the look and
Yeah.
feel of the album, I really wanted it to be relaxed. And I didn't want it to look like we were trying at all. I'm sitting on a tree. Yeah.
Just like that.
We'll see.
Yeah, exactly. So this is exactly how I felt like when we were writing the album
Yeah.
in Ubud. It felt like we were
I
surrounded
was going to
by...
ask you which
Yeah.
part of Bali, because Ubud
Yeah.
is so peaceful and tranquil. and
Exactly,
everything, right?
exactly. So that's kind of the direct inspiration that inspired the album was our surrounding. And I wanted the artwork to kind of reflect the surrounding in which the album was made also. Yeah.
Okay, well, I was wondering if there was a monkey suddenly coming into the scene.
Yeah,
maybe
but
the
right.
song would be so
There
different.
was actually.
That was?
Yeah. He stole a piece of my wife's bread and
really?
ran away. Yeah, luckily he didn't take a phone or anything.
Yeah, they do. They become very
Things like
very
that happen,
smart.
you know. So, yeah.
Oh
So-
my goodness. Yeah.
When we know about It's You during the pandemic,
Yeah.
we can say it's a personal experience from Sezairi. Again, from this latest album, which song from this album was based on your personal experience?
Oh, I think probably all of them.
Oh.
Yeah.
But is it really like your style to always produce everything based on your, at least what you feel is right to you, right?
Yeah, I think the thing is, you know what you know because you experience what you experience, and only you know how that feels, right? And for me, after many years of writing and trying to figure things out and trying to understand what people like, I feel like the litmus test was really It's You and how authentic that felt to me while writing it.
Yeah.
And the correlation of the response towards that song is directly related to how I feel, in my opinion, how authentic that song felt while I was writing it, and how I drew from my own experiences. And that kind of taught me that there's nothing that you can do better than just being yourself and just telling people about how you feel about things. And it's really simple. I feel like it's really not that deep, right? It's just how you feel about something and how strongly you feel about something, and how can you convey that to other people who can then say,
Never lie to yourself, never be a hypocrite.
yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's a
Yeah,
really
it's
difficult
tough
thing to do,
sometimes.
to find out who you are, because who we are when we look in the mirror is not necessarily who we really are. It's who we are
Yeah.
taught to be,
Yes.
who we are,
Oh, exactly.
what society has kind of molded us to be, the environment that we grew up in, the trauma that we suffered, you know, the
Right.
hope that we feel, the greatness that we absorb. And
Right.
so, yeah, only you know how that feels. So everyone's, in an individualistic sense, everyone's kind of special in that way, you know?
Agree, 100%.
So that's why I'm reading this for you.
Yeah.
I'm taking it from the YouTube video, official lyric video of Daylight.
Yeah.
One of the audience said that you don't know how much I love your shooting voice. It's relaxed me every time, and even when I'm single, I can feel the love that you want to
Oh,
communicate.
for the
with this.
jomblo.
You-
Daylight really is, for me, all the songs are an encapsulation of how you feel at a moment in time, right? And Daylight is how you feel when the person you love is just so bright, and she or he brightens up your entire world. I'm sure we've all felt that one person that when they walk into the room, they're just, oh my God,
Yeah.
that person just shines.
Yeah.
And Daylight is just kind of encapsulates that feeling of someone whose energy is just so bright and burning that I needed to put that in the song. I feel, yeah.
All right. We'll keep the rest of the story later because we're going to have a break now. And don't go anywhere because we still have our talk with Sezairi after the break, okay? Stay tuned.